bad person. Did you see that? No. Did you see her do that? She was clapping back, and it was obviously at Grace Randolph.
It's Grace.
But also, like, when she did the It 2 trailer review, there's Jessica Chastain. She looks so stupid. Like, that's the first thing that came out of her mouth.
Stop.
She hates her. And then she also said, there's not a single bandwagon that Jessica Chastain won't jump on.
Because as a person, by the way, I've watched Beyond the Trailer for over a decade now.
I still watch her.
I still watch
humor.
her. And I still watch her. It's a decades-long beef, hatred that Grace has had for anyway. That's not what we're here to talk about. But yeah, she hates Jessica Chastain.
Like, it goes back to even before The Martian came out in 2015.
And the thing is, though, Jessica could have won if she hadn't. I know you said an interviewer brought it up. She should have been like, I don't know her. Go full Mariah Carey. I don't know her. Because you've lost now.
Oh, yeah. Now that you've admitted that you know of her. Like, she doesn't say her by name, but it's obvious who it is.
You've lost. You've lost. Because now the one-sided beef, she's moved it into existence.
Oh, yeah.
It exists now.
You're giving her more power.
You've lost.
What did you do by putting that woman down? What did you gain?
You lost, Jessica.
You gained nothing.
You lost. But yes,
Grace getting to interview Gareth Edwards.
She did.
But it's so funny because, like, I watch her. She shat on him, like, talking about when Andor came out. Remember Gareth Edwards got fired?
Yeah.
Because Tony Guerrero had to come save it because Gareth Edwards can't make a film. And now she's just praising the creator.
No, it's crazy because she does not care. She
doesn't.
does not care.
She has her opinions and she stands 10
toes down.
She
does not care. I think that's why so many people love Grace so much. That's why she has a large gay fan. She doesn't care.
She's going to sip her tea, her coffee. She's like, no sugar right now. Remember that?
Like, oh my gosh. She's doing that. She is.
Like, I know so many random facts about this woman. Well, you know, I only go to this AMC because it's the good one.
Yes.
And when my parents came with me, and they were at the press screening.
One of her top 4 movies is, I think It's a Wonderful Life.
No, she has the
Dr.
trio.
Zhivago. What is Dr. Zhivago, right?
She says, I believe you can triangulate your film taste with your top 3 films. So right now it's Barbie, I think Saving Mr. Banks, and some other old film.
It was either Dr. Zhivago. I know they used to be in her top 3. Dr. Zhivago or It's a Wonderful Life or something was in her top 3, I believe. Where's Grace's Letterboxd?
I think she's beyond it. She's beyond it.
She's beyond the trailer. Oh my gosh. But yeah, she's just...
Oh, here they are. Favorite films are Rear Window, Joker, and Saving Mr. Banks. I think she dropped Joker for Barbie. Which is hilarious. But she previously, before Joker, is The Dark Knight.
That's so her.
I mean, that tells you so much about this woman.
It does.
She loves Batman.
She does. She's a huge comic fan.
She used to write comics.
She did Superbia.
Yeah.
Suburbia.
Yeah.
Superbia. And then on top of that, does anyone remember her old comics channel? What was it called? It was
something with ink.
Think About the Ink.
Yeah.
With Bleeding Cool. I've been a Grace Randolph a long time. For those of you who remember that channel.
Are we stans?
Stop. No. It's like she's kind of Mother.
Oh, but also like she has really a lot of drama. She has issues with James Gunn.
She has beef with
and Gunn
John Campia.
Oh yeah, and Gunn actually said it. She will spout bullshit.
Literally, no. He lost once again. The minute you acknowledge her.
No, and she's right in then saying like I think James Gunn should just do a complete reboot. It's very clear he wants to keep his friends around.
He should have done a complete reboot. He should have.
Oh, but also, like, she was the one that leaked that Pedro Pascal left The Mandalorian and doesn't do any of his, like, scenes. He's just the voiceover now. Mm-hmm. And that was some real tea. Like, she's gonna spill the tea. She gets a scoop.
Anyway, sorry. This turned out... Why did we just talked about Grace Randolph? But yes, we were talking about location scouting.
Oh, yeah.
We got from the Gareth Edwards interview. Oh, my gosh. I'm leaving that in. Anyway, So they went location scouting. So the way they kept the budget down is they just sent small units to go film little individual things in the countries that they wanted to film in abroad. So they filmed in Vietnam, Cambodia, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand, and Nepal.
Yeah.
And so I was just wondering, I was like, because when I saw this movie, it looked better than Star Wars.
I agree.
I thought this was like a $200 million budget. I was like, oh Lord, it's going to be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Not even that probably. Like, how do you make up that kind of money? And then my jaw dropped when I saw that budget. Because I was like, oh, so people aren't being like, oh, I'm a big star, pay me a lot. That was genuinely just for the actual special effects and like traveling people out and like production, like that was crazy. And so that was just really impressive. And then Gareth Edwards, I think he's a really good director. I haven't seen Godzilla. These are only 2 films of his that I've seen, and I liked both of them.
The way he knows how to like work a budget, work a crew, and get the shot done is amazing. I just wish he'd have a bit better taste in choosing the scripts.
He wrote this though, didn't he?
No, he co-wrote it.
But that's still
I know he co-wrote it, but you know what the tea is? This co-writer is Chris Weitz, and guess what he did?
What?
He directed Twilight Saga: New Moon.
Ooh.
So slay.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's 2 white guys that I'm pretty sure. One, Gareth Edwards is British, and the other one's American.
Yeah.
But it's weird that you have a film set primarily in this fictional version of New Asia, written by these 2 white guys.
It is weird because what I wanted to quickly, I think the reason Edwards is so good at like managing a budget is because he's done so much other stuff before being a director. Like he used to be an editor as well. He also
and VFX worker.
Yeah, and VFX worker. So he knows his way. He knows how to do his stuff and probably get the best product for the least amount of like work possible. I just like people who actually like kind of like in the dirt, or like not in the dirt, but like doing like other stuff before they like eventually moved out to. That's just what I wanted to say for more context. But yeah, I think we were talking about the script now, or hold on.
Whichever one you want to.
Ooh, hold on. Let me look at my notes. I apologize. So, multiple sets. You were talking about the script. Let's go off of... Oh, yeah, Asia. We were on Asia.
Yeah.
We were on Asia. So, this is... Because my problem with the script is... Because I remember before I went to go see it, I read somebody else's review talking about... They were Asian, and they didn't like it specifically because it was just a great big Asian hodgepodge to them.
Just give a melting pot.
Yeah, it's a melting pot, and they don't particularly stick to one culture, and they just mix up a bunch of stuff.
And people in the background are speaking different languages.
Yeah, different languages. And that's a great criticism that I have of the film, because I enjoyed it, but as a person who, like, for more lore about me, I've studied Chinese for about 2 to 3 years now, and then I also had a study abroad in Thailand. So like I know a thing or two about Asian culture. So sitting in the film, I was immediately like,
You know a thing or two because you've seen a thing or two.
I've seen a thing or two. So like I've spent 4 months in Thailand, so I'm like, oh, we're in Thailand now, and then I'm like, we're in Vietnam, and wait. Is this...
Like, the geography didn't make sense.
Yeah, I was like, where are we? What's going on? And then, like, people speaking the different... Because I can now recognize Thai quite well, and I can recognize Japanese quite well as well, since I haven't taken Japanese classes, but, like, I watch a lot of anime. Oh, yes. But I'm like, where, what's going on? What's going on? And then another thing, at the beginning, when they were giving us the little alternate history stick, I was like, ooh, alternate history.
It was so cute!
I actually really liked it.
It worked very well. Reminded me of The Incredibles.
Yes. I like the newsreel they were giving us, and how robots and stuff were, they
part of the
workforce, and like they were actually pretty good in terms of integration, but then we all of a sudden, like, a nuke came and hit LA, and now we had to wipe out all Sims, and like that's kind of when, because I ignored it while I was watching the film, but getting out, I was like, wait a minute, like, okay, because they don't explain much about how the world government works here. So it's just the U.S. and then, like, New Asia. Okay, so Africa is not in the question. What's Europe doing? Is Australia doing anything? I mean, I could have ignored that if they made more sense in terms of, okay, but why is the U.S. I mean, the U.S. is already currently right now unilaterally doing whatever it wants. But, like, that's just... How can you have that giant space thing going around and not have a full-on declaration of war on, like, those lands if you're just... Did everywhere else get rid of the Sims? Is that even specified? Like, why? Because I was like, why? Okay, but if the people in Asia are fine with their Sims, and we just have, like, a treaty where, like, Sims aren't allowed to, like, travel to the U.S., why are we doing this? Like, why are you randomly sending out the Nomad? I think that's what it's called. The spaceship, the giant laser beam that's coming down and, like, pinging on people and killing them. I was like, why is this, like, that wasn't vibing much with me in terms of the script. So some of the world building is just a little, it's just, like, it's like a Jenga tower. If you pull at the wrong piece, it starts to fall apart for me, personally.
I mean, like, we just have to assume so many things very quickly. And... there's so much American exposition.
Yes.
But you spend so little time in America and Los Angeles.
So we're not sure how the propaganda works. Why do people believe what the U.S. is telling them?
Why would Asia form into New Asia?
Yeah.
What happened there? Beyond there? Why are they more accepting of AI? Like, we're never given reasons. We just have to assume it. And, like, the movie moves very quickly. So, like, on your first watch...
For 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Like, you're not really, like... You're just going to let a lot of things pass because the characters are developing quickly and the plot is moving forward.
And we're jumping to a lot of locations as well. We're moving around a lot.
Oh, yeah. On a second rewatch, I began to notice, like, you just have to assume a lot of things.
You do.
You just have to, like, trust that, like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And it does fall apart a bit of the logic, especially, like, on a rewatch. And when you sit and think about why things occur the way they do. Like, it's a bit messy that, like, John David Washington's character was, like, undercover agent and he was trying to find these things because it's not that well set up and
he
like
was a deep cover agent. It's like, but why?
But you chose to like impregnate your source, so like I'm beginning to be like
you're really unprofessional.
Yeah,
like what's going on?
Why is Nirmata so bad?
Yeah,
where did this weapon come from all of a sudden?
Yeah,
like
they
a
don't
lot
explain,
of things
they don't really explain. What made me mad was the nuke thing because I was like, okay, like we should take nukes seriously. I support nuclear disarmament. We should be taking nukes very seriously. But I was like, okay, like it was an accident, like because I was like, how, like the U.S. population is very heavily propagandist. But I'm like, how are people like getting? How does it not get out that like maybe that was an accident? Because Ken Watanabe's character, I forget his character's name, he tells us that like it was a coding error made by a person or something. Like it was a mistake made by a person, not by us, is why the nuke hit LA. But they don't want to listen to us. And so why isn't the government of New Asia like trying to broadcast to everybody like it was an accident? Please stop illegally, which to me, if the UN still exists in this universe or whatever, illegally sending laser beams to kill Sims where you're most likely killing random people.
And they for sure did.
They're definitely killing humans. They're committing so many war crimes within the film.
Like young children are just dying in this movie.
And the U.S. soldiers who are also Allison Janney, very good in this film.
Eight
down. One of my favorite 6-foot tall women. She's really tall.
She really should be Carol Burnett in a movie.
She's really tall. Is Carol Burnett 6 feet tall?
No, but they just look a lot alike and have similar kind of... I think Carol Burnett is really tall, though.
Okay, work. But the thing is, they probably have to dig a ditch for everybody else. Or for her, like, if that happens. But yes, I thought... Because I was like, why is the... it just wasn't
She's
making...
5'6". I was so wrong.
I was like, Carol Burnett does not give tall, but yeah, that'd be so awkward. But yes, anyway, moving on. Like the nuke thing was just making me, that stuck with me. I was like, why? Because if they'd given us more exposition as to like, oh, this population is still just as heavily propagandized and like nobody cares, I would have been like, oh, okay, that's like fine. Because like we all know now that we were lied into Iraq and everybody, well, not everybody, but most people believe that like the Iraq war was justified at the time. So like I can see that. But then at the very end of the movie, they're saying there are anti-nomad protests going on. I was like, so where were you earlier? And, like, nobody acknowledges them. You just see it on, like, a TV, I think, near the end of the film. Like, nobody says anything. But, like, it's like, oh, okay, there they are. There they are, I guess. And then the Asian, like, I feel so bad for... We did like this movie, but, like, I have a lot more critiques now that, like, we're here. Also, the great Asian hodgepodge, like I said earlier, where it's, like, we're now in Vietnam, we're now in Thailand. What made me upset was, like, as a person who studied Chinese and studies Chinese culture... does China not exist in this equation? I was like, where is China? Like, why aren't we filming in China? And then I went to go look this up. I was like, oh, maybe there was some like COVID stuff. Maybe they weren't all allowed their visas or something. And they don't talk about that at all. It didn't even look like they tried to film in China or like get a Chinese perspective in the film, or because I heard no Chinese. I was like waiting because I know some Chinese. I was like, oh boy, this will like test my Chinese. We're nowhere in China. We get no Chinese stars, but we get some. Ken Watanabe's obviously Japanese. He's a very famous Japanese actor. And then we have, what's her name? Robbie. No. Sorry. Her name is Veronica No, she's Vietnamese. She's a very famous Vietnamese actress, but no Chinese stars. I was just like, and I apologize. I don't know any big stars from Nepal or Cambodia or anything Nepal and Indonesia or anything like that. But it was just, it was just weird to me. I was like, okay, in this new Asia government, why wouldn't one of the, because they don't, also the timeline, because it looks like